Hello, everyone. I am here with artist, filmmaker, explorer, and soon-to-be analog astronaut at high seas, Benjamin Potier. Benjamin, you're about to go into a 2-week simulation at high seas in Hawaii. Tell us a little bit about that. How long will what are the start and finish dates of your mission?
Hi, hello, Shona, and everybody. So basically, we will start the mission on February 20th, and it should end, I hope so, on March 6th.
Okay.
So it's a 15 days mission.
Hopefully you don't get locked in there for any longer than you mean to be, hey?
Yeah, actually, I would say that the longest experience, quite similar to this, was a little bit more than a month stay in semi-isolation at a research station in the high Arctic, in Lapland.
So you have exposure to this kind of extreme environment, then, is what you're saying?
Yes, I have previous experiences, but I think are similar. Of course, you have to go through the experience to then say it was similar or not. But based on my experience, I stayed 18 days on a boat in the Arctic cycle, in the Arctic Ocean. And I stayed more than a month during the polar night at a research station in Finland. And I also did high altitude expeditions.
Wow, so you're very much prepared to be in an extreme environment. So why high seas in particular? What do you hope to achieve? What is high seas for those who out there who might not be familiar with the concept of an analog habitat?
Well, there's 2 points. The first point, which might be interesting, is that I actually didn't apply to be part of this mission. In fact, some astronaut candidates from the POSAM program gave my profile to Bernard Foin from ESA, who is the coordinator of this research. And I agreed to participate, of course, because it's very interesting. And also because it's a moon mission simulation. The point is that high seas habitat and high seas experiment used to be in the past a Mars training expedition mission. And for this one, it will be the first one, but will be a moon mission simulation. So the duration is shorter. The mindset for the simulation is shorter. And I guess the studies will be a bit different.
Perfect. And that's kind of where I came in. So you and I met through Project Possum, which for those who don't know out there stands for Polar Suborbital Science of the Upper Mesosphere. Back when we were doing emergency sea survival and spacecraft egress training. My role in this mission is to be your ground support. So I'm kind of your bridge to the outside world. You won't have social media. You won't be able to tell anyone about the cool things you're doing. So that's kind of my role. I have done the Mars Desert Research Station analog tour. So I'm very curious to hear how your experience will go. So on that note, what has your preparation been like going into this mission? What are you excited about? What are you anxious about? What do you hope to get out of this mission?
Well, I would say that I don't feel particularly anxious because some of my previous experiences were, I think, much more extreme. And I don't want to sound too much arrogant saying that, because of course I will have to go through the IC mission to then give a proper feedback. But one example is that for the IC mission, I will have my own room for the 15 days. And when I was in the Arctic Ocean in a boat, I had to share a very small cabin with one crewmate for 18 days. So the feeling is a bit different, I would say.
So this might be a bit of a luxury compared to some of your previous experience.
Yeah, in a way, actually, yeah, definitely. And also in terms of altitude, I don't remember exactly the altitudes of IC habitat, but it will be less extreme than Ojos del Salado in Chile or the Nepalese Himalayas. But also in terms of training, actually for the last 5 to 6 years, I've been involved in 2 extreme expeditions, and I used to train like I would say a bit above my average to have a kind of average level of fitness. And like you, I'm a martial art practitioner, and I really enjoy that. And at the end of 2017, coming back from Oros del Salado, I injured my feet. And so I'm only slightly back to normal, I would say. So I didn't train like so much for this mission, but I don't think it will be so much demanding physically, but much more like mentally, I guess, psychologically.
And before we move on, what is your martial art, out of curiosity?
I've practiced Aikido for a bit like 15 years.
Oh, awesome.
I don't have like specific rank, but I've been training in a lot of diverse style around my research. I've done Kyudo, which is Japanese archery. I've practiced Kendo. I've practiced Iaido, which is the sword practice with a real sword. And I've done a bit of Judo, a bit of Kung Fu, some self-defense. So you name it, a bit of everything.
A little bit
and
of
yourself,
everything.
Taekwondo, I think, no?
Yeah, Taekwondo and Muay Thai, those are my sports. So that's awesome. We'll have to compare notes someday.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you do Muay Thai as well. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, love it. But coming back to the mission, so this is your first analog mission. Why is this important for future lunar expeditions? Like, why do we have analog environments?
Yeah, the Moon, Mars, or space analog mission are useful for the researcher. Mostly, in a kind of ironic way, you could say that I will be a kind of guinea pig, because what is useful for the researcher to conduct, for example, food studies, psychological studies, human factor studies, to understand how it will be possible to have like a crew of 6 people locked in a spaceship to go to Mars, for example, or to go back to the moon. So, of course, you can say that there's already people in the ISS, in the International Space Station, and you can do those studies, but you can't do so much easily all the studies you can conduct on Earth.
Perfect. And tell me a little bit about your crewmates. How big is the crew going into sim with you, and tell me a little bit about their backgrounds.
So we'll be a team of 6 people. The commander will be Michaela, and Michaela was actually, she's a space expert. She has done many different simulations already. And she was part of the last Mars IC mission, which was cancelled due to an incident. And I guess in that way, she's pretty happy to start back. And she will be our mission commander. Then we will have 2 master students from VU University of Amsterdam, Sebastian and Annelotte, and they are master students in geology, and they will be conducting sample studies and research to develop a procedure for sample studies and collection. That will be their task. We have Niti, who's a navigation expert from ESA, who's coming for ESA, and also to gain field experience that could be useful for their own research. And also we will have Josh, who's actually US filmmaker and a journalist.
Perfect. So that sounds like a really outstanding crew. It's I think you're going to have a really great adventure. Now I know I've sent you a lot of questions to think about as you go into the sim, and you and I will be corresponding by email, and we'll be telling all of those who are following your adventure what you're up to on a daily basis. So I won't ruin too many of those questions because we'll be talking to your followers throughout your expedition. But I think my last question for you is, when we talk again in 2.5 weeks, what what do you hope to have achieved? What objectives do you hope to have met that will make you consider this a successful mission?
It's a very good question. I want to improve again my self-discipline, I would say. And isolation is the condition. An ICE environment, it's a good place to gain again self-discipline that I've lost a little bit because of my injury. So beyond conducting scientific research and doing EVA and stuff like this, I will be doing a lot of training, I think so. It will be also, actually, I will participate to a study of the impact of Japanese Zen meditation for long duration space flight. So for me, it will be also 15 days to meditate and to have a kind of perspective on my research, and I found 15 days.
Perfect. So it sounds like you have a lot of personal goals as well as science goals and mission goals. I'm very excited to hear about your perspectives on psychological resilience in an ICE or isolated and confined environment. That's, as you might know, one of my areas of research, psychological resilience in extreme environments. So I think we'll have a lot to talk about and debrief about once you're out of the sim. And maybe I'll share a little bit about my perspective with everyone who's following along throughout these 2 weeks. Before we sign off, do you have any last words for anyone who's out there watching, following along?
Yeah, I would say don't hesitate and give some comments. If she has time, I think you will be able, Shona, to answer to some of the question. And anyway, at the end of the mission, we will come back to the comments and give some feedback to your question.
Definitely. I'm so excited for your mission and to see how things will have turned out in 2.5 weeks. So definitely this will be the start of something really exciting. So this is just the beginning. So for anyone out there, just follow along and we'll be posting regular updates. Till that next time.
All right. And see you on Earth very soon.
See you on Earth.
Yeah. Bye-bye.